The benefits of blockchain. Blockchain is akin to barcodes in many ways and offers several benefits. First, it is a decentralized ledger or database, which is distributed amongst the computer nodes who run the blockchain, so there is no single point of failure, and more importantly, no single person or organization controlling the network. This shared data is the history of every transaction and is stored in multiple copies on a network of computers called nodes. To be part of the blockchain ecosystem, each person adding a transaction has to be validated for their identity by the community. And each transaction needs to start with a digital identity, such as a barcode or tag. Thus, everyone can trust the people and the transactions that make up the blockchain community. Secondly, what makes the blockchain theoretically tamper-proof is it carries a cryptographic fingerprint, or hash, unique to each block, which is a proof of work by miners who have to solve a complicated algorithm using a great deal of computing power to add a block to the blockchain. Also, the consensus protocol by which nodes in the network agree utilizes a shared history model. Each block of transactions is hashed and copied to each node, and a new block will include a hash of the whole history, thus practically making any changes of historical data impossible or extremely time-consuming and costly, as an attacker will have to overtake a minimum of 51% of all nodes to change consensus and history. Thus, all actors can track if changes happened. Thirdly, the blockchain represents a single version of the truth. So if you have a supply chain or ecosystem where some of the actors are not trusted, or the data isn't trusted as authentic, or being the latest version, the blockchain provides an opportunity to filter such actors and enables trading only with authentic people, even those you have not considered beforehand. Fourthly, transparency is a key benefit of blockchain technology. Everyone who's been approved in the ecosystem has visibility of the data anytime they want, just to log in through a portal. Depending on the business model, you can design it so that only some actors are allowed to view, or that everyone is allowed to view. An example of the latter is used by producers and retailers to provide consumers more transparency on how products are sourced. Finally, the blockchain makes payments very simple and fast and cuts out banks, as you don't need them as the middleman that holds the ledger or record of who is paying who. The distributed ledger holds this single version of the truth. Payments can be made as soon as the criteria for the transaction has been satisfied. Documents can be authenticated and placed on the blockchain. Everything or person being placed on the blockchain has to be authenticated and start with a digital identity, in fact, a barcode or RFID tag. A useful side benefit of the blockchain is a piece of software that creates smart contracts. These can sit on the blockchain and automatically execute certain events, like payment for a shipment, provided certain criteria are met. So, if, for example, a person specifies a shipment must be delivered by a certain date, with no damage, and with an accurate invoice, then the payment will be triggered immediately to the seller, without intervention from banks or any third party.